It's 1 year since Mary Portas, TV's so-called Queen of Shops, launched a government-funded campaign to help 12 towns find innovative ways to revive their struggling high streets. This is just one in an endless succession of news stories that keeps town centre retail in the headlines these days. But it's not all bad news. Ross Bailey, founder of pop-up shop startup Appear Here, believes that his service, connecting empty retail properties with people with short-term business ideas, could actually help regenerate the high street.
There are obviously a lot of vacant spaces. There's a lot of spaces with sort of a latent capacity, and there's what I like to call awkward pauses as well. So while you're looking for that long-term tenant, and landlords want a long-term tenant, there is a pause. And I feel that space, and there should never be a pause, and landlords should either be renting out their space or telling a story and creating entertainment. So when we then look at regenerating the high street, I think that what we're doing is we're going to bring fresh ideas. We're sort of seeding ideas into that shopping monoculture, these clone towns, but we're also allowing and democratizing space. So we're allowing the local person with an idea not to rent a space for 3 years or 5 years or 10, but to rent it for when they need it. So the same way as a couple of young guys might rent a nightclub for the night because they know that all their friends are going to buy tickets and they'll make a profit. The young guy who's got a t-shirt label can take a shop for the week, can tell all of his friends about it, take a landlord's awkward pause, bring it back to life, and open up the high street to a whole new audience.
The Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors has just announced a 21% rise in the number of members reporting an increase in unoccupied shops. Just one of the reasons why Appear Here has been labelled a digital game changer for the high street.
I think the reason we've been called that is commercial property, there's not much happening. So residential property, 90% of spaces are searched for initially online. When you look in commercial property, that doesn't happen. So what we find really interesting is that there's such a huge market here that just hasn't been really touched by what's happening online. But there's also a lot of big question marks. If you speak to a little landlord or you speak to a huge landlord, they've got the same concerns, the same questions about what does the future look like. And if you speak to brands and retailers, they're not happy with the current process. So what we're trying to do is make it simple, but also allow people to transact online and book a space, like I said earlier, the same way you'd book a hotel room.
Ross is passionate about his fledgling startup. He talks broadly about experiences in high street properties rather than focusing solely on retail, and says there are many reasons why a business might open a pop-up shop.
To me, the main reason pop-ups and brands and retailers launch pop-up shops goes into 3 key areas. The first one is about being a test bed, so testing out the location, testing out a new product, and gaining constant customer feedback. It gives you the flexibility to try new places. The second one's about the moment in time, so appearing somewhere for a key season or event, attaching your idea to something much greater than you are. So it might be the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, it might be Notting Hill Carnival, or it might be summer, autumn, Christmas. And the third reason is about experience. So today, experience in retail is more important than ever before. And by us creating this network of spaces, we essentially create a media space, like Clear Channel or someone, for experiential, for 3D, shops become 3D billboards.
Appear Here launched in February 2013. Ross says that 120 spaces and counting have been registered by some of the UK's biggest landlords, and some of the best known consumer brands have been taking part. So, what's for the next 12 months?
My aim is that you're not just going to be able to book a space in the UK, but you'll be able to start to book a space in major cities. And the vision for us is that long term is the same way you can go anywhere in the world and find somewhere to stay overnight, somewhere to go on holiday. We want you to be able to find a space anywhere in the world for your idea, so that the little guy can go out and launch a shop in Miami, or the big brand can suddenly attract a new audience. And our aim is that whether you're the little guy or the huge guy, you can go out and create a moment.